how did Havok got her first opportunity on Impact Wrestling at that point, TNA?
So by the time I started the first time at Impact, I was already 10 years in. So I was wrestling for 10 years on the independents. And I got booked for an opportunity to wrestle Madison Rain in a Knockouts One Night Only pay-per-view. And then after that match, they liked my work and they hired me. And I was with them for a year before the first time. But I got the opportunity for one of their One Night Only specials.
I'll translate that to Spanish. Havok entra a TNA o Impact actualmente cuando tenía 10 años de experiencia ya en la industria en el circuito independiente. Posterior a eso, viene por una sola lucha en el TNA One Night Only para enfrentarse a Madison Rain. Les gustó su trabajo y de ahí en adelante ellos deciden firmarle y se queda con la empresa por el periodo de un año. What do you recall of the night when you defeated Gail Kim to become the new TNA Knockouts champion?
So that night is probably one of the best moments in my career. I remember when it happened, I just was just so like in disbelief. Like, not only did I defeat Gail Kim, who is an amazing opponent, it was on the main event of that show that night. And I just remember being just overwhelmed and so happy. And I remember later that night when I got back to my room, I was crying because I was so happy.
I'll translate that to Spanish. Es uno de los momentos más grandes dentro de su carrera. Ella derrota a Gail Kim en un evento estelar, gana el campeonato de las Knockouts y obviamente se pone emocional. Y recuerda que estaba llorando en su cuarto hotel posterior a esa histórica noche. After 1 year with Impact Wrestling at that point, you decided you wanted to take a separate pathways from Impact. Why did that first run ended?
Well, it wasn't really my choice because I would have stayed, but I feel like the company was maybe going in a different direction. And I think the first time I was there, it was under different management. And I feel like that maybe they thought that I didn't have the confidence that I had like on the indies. And it was my first time working for a TV company. So I went from thinking that I was pretty like knew what I was doing to feeling like I didn't know what I was doing at all, because TV is so much different than the independent. But I feel like it was good for me to go through that experience, because since then I did what I could to build more confidence and be a better wrestler and work on my character even more. And I feel like I evolved into a much better wrestler since then. And I'm so happy to be back and get to show everybody like all of the changes that I've gotten to make within myself for everybody to see on Impact.
I'll translate that to Spanish. Havok no fue su decisión, fue decisión de la empresa, que estaba tomando un rumbo distinto al que ella estaban. Ellos entendían que ella no tenía la confianza en sí misma que ella tenía en las independientes por más de 10 años. Y entonces tuvo la oportunidad de irse, luego regresa y regresa con la oportunidad de mostrarle al mundo pues la confianza que ella tiene. Menciona la diferencia que era trabajar televisión por primera vez en su carrera, que fue uno de los retos más grandes que ha enfrentado también. Who contacted Havok to return to Impact on this second run you're having with the company?
Actually, I got a phone call from Scott Demore, and we talked a little bit, and then he basically told me that he felt like it was a good time for me to come back. And then he sent me a contract, and here we are.
I'll translate that. Scott D'Amore es quien le hace la llamada, le ofrece un contrato y, como ella dice, aquí está nuevamente con la empresa. Whose idea was, you know, you've always been a singles wrestler, a dominant force in every division you've been before, but you're now on a new pathway of your career. You know, you're paired with Nevaeh. Whose idea was to pair you up in a tag team, and do you feel comfortable doing it?
Well, a lot of people might not realize, but for a little over 10 years, Nevaeh and I were actually a tag team on the independent scene for many companies. We are actually currently the Rise Tag Team Champions. Rise is a female wrestling company based out of Chicago. I think that it was I'm not sure whose idea it was, but I feel like they just kind of knew that they were going to reintroduce the Knockouts tag titles, even though we had no idea. And Impact has a bunch of different women's tag teams now, but I feel like they probably were like, well, we know they've been tagging for a while. Let's introduce Nevaeh. And that was Nevaeh's first time on like a TV company, and we got to tag together. So we were very happy because we're best friends in real life as well. So it's not just wrestling, it's also in our personal lives. So I think that it was just a mix of things that brought us to where we are now, but it all worked, you know, and it's awesome to have Nevaeh by my side on TV.
I'll translate that. Ella ya había hecho equipo con Nevaeh gran parte de su carrera en el circuito independiente. Específicamente fueron campeonas y son campeonas en pareja de Rise, una empresa femenina localizada en Chicago. Y llega el momento dado en que estaban los títulos en pareja de las Knockouts, ellas no lo sabían, entonces le dan la oportunidad a Nevaeh de hacer su ingreso a su primera oportunidad en televisión, y de esa manera parean a Havok y a Nevaeh. No recuerda como que de quién es la idea, pero sí era para crear equipos sólidos en esta nueva división que ellos iban a tener actualmente, que conocemos que Tasha y Kara Hogan son las campeonas. Let's talk about the Knockouts division as a general. I think this has been the best Knockouts division in the last 5-6 years easily. So what do you think is the key of success behind, you know, the Knockouts as a general? Like, you have the tag team division, you have a singles division, everyone is doing something. Like, any single person in that Knockouts division has a storyline, which is pretty interesting.
I think it's very important. Well, first, I just want to say, I do believe that the Knockouts division is the best that it's been in quite a long time. I also feel that our women's division is the best out there right now. I know we are much smaller, but I do feel that we are the best, and we have so many talented women on our roster. And I feel like the secret behind that is that we are all, even though we're competitive with each other, we're all very supportive of each other, and we are very positive and always want to build each other up rather than tear each other down. And I feel like that translates from backstage to when we're competing in the ring as well. I think it's very important to have, for a women's division, to have kind of a sisterhood. And I feel that we have so many different women who look different, who are different characters, and everyone's so skilled and just talented. So I feel like that's honestly why we're the best.
I'll translate that. Havok menciona que la división femenina o la división de las Knockouts de Impact es la mejor en el planeta ahora mismo. Además de eso, ella entiende que la división de las Knockouts es lo mejor que ha sido en muchísimo tiempo. ¿Cuál ha sido la clave de esto? Hay varios factores. El primero es que son bien unidas todas, tanto en el ring como backstage. Esa sisterhood, como ella menciona, esa hermandad entre las compañeras es algo bien importante y ha sido clave de este éxito. En adición a esto, tienen algo para todo el mundo. O sea, hay variedad, todas son sumamente talentosas, y esa ha sido la clave detrás de la división de las Knockouts en esta nueva corrida que han tenido en la empresa. Let's talk about the Forbidden Door and Tony Khan's promos every single week on Impact. We've been seeing different men from AEW to Impact and vice versa, but we haven't had the opportunity to see a knockouts going to the AEW women's division, which in my opinion, they really needed at this point with the respect of their division. Do you think this is going to happen at any time soon?
I can't tell you if it's going to happen. I haven't heard of anything, but I feel like it would honestly catch the attention of a lot of fans if that could happen. I feel that, like I said before, we do have the strongest women's division, and I do know that there are women out on AEW that I know fans would like for me to go up against. Fans constantly talk about how they would love to see Havok versus Nyla Rose, Havok versus Abaddon. You know, there are a lot of girls there that are good, but I just feel we are better. But
I agree.
I just, and it's nothing against them. And a lot of the girls there, they're new, so they're learning, and it is very difficult to learn while you are on television, like you're developing on TV, and that could be a very tough spot to be in. But I feel like the fans would really like if there was a women's crossover of some sort, and I know that there's quite a few matchups that people would like to see.
I'll translate that. No hay en estos momentos un plan que haya escuchado para las knockouts ir allá o de IW traer mujeres acá a Impact, pero sí entiende que se beneficiarían ambas partes. La división de las knockouts tendría exposición en otro ojo. Ella entiende que hay matchups claves que le gustaría ver, como Havok contra Abaddon o Havok contra Nyla Rose, pero que ella entiende que la división de las knockouts es superior, es mejor a la división de IW. Como que nada personal en contra de ella, pero sí son mejores luchadoras y están más unidas, está mejor construida la división. Tarde o temprano entiendo que es algo que debe estar ocurriendo. Let's talk about the creative process on the Knockouts division on Impact. I've recently read a Gail Kim interview saying that if she wasn't so happy working as an agent on Impact Wrestling, she would be wrestling. So everyone is happy with what they're doing, even the agents and the creative side of Impact. So what's your opinion on the way they've been booking the whole show, maybe towards the Knockouts division most of the time, actually?
I meant to touch base on this earlier, but you had mentioned that every single knockout has a role to play on TV. Nobody's sitting out, everybody's busy in a storyline. And I think that is one of the best things, because you don't see that very often at companies. Usually they focus on like their top 3 girls, and then, but everybody's doing something. And what I love most about the creative at Impact is we have an input. Like if there's something, they're like, okay, we're going to do this. If there's something that I know that my character would respond better this way, I could say, well, Havok wouldn't be okay with this. Maybe Havok can approach it this, and they take that into consideration. And I think it's important for, they show that they are listening to us as performers. And I feel like that makes everybody a little bit of a happier family with that. And honestly, it's an honor to have Gail Kim as one of our agents. She is obviously a legend in women's wrestling, and she's so knowledgeable about wrestling, and she's experienced so much. So it's really great to have her there with us to help us on things, like if we can't think of something, or just to just make sure that matches flow like they should.
I'll translate that. Menciona lo que toqué un poquito antes de la entrevista, que cada cual está haciendo algo. Eso es lo interesante. No hay ni una sola knockout que esté sentada sin hacer nada. Todas tienen un rol, todas tienen una historia, todas tienen un propósito, y todo está conectado como debería ser en la industria. Gail Kim es obviamente una de las mejores, una leyenda, y el hecho de que ella sea una de las personas que esté capitaneando esa división simplemente ha sido un honor para muchas de ellas.